all of
Yeah, what
this week's gaming
a
news.
week of new platforms and many delays.
New
Um,
platforms, well, a surprise new platform in the form of, well, not a new platform, but so much as a portable Steam machine. Who knew?
mm,
This is a
mm.
completely, I don't know if there were any rumors about this because in my head I did not expect this at all.
I think the only thing that was, I recall earlier this year, Gabe Newell, who is now, I guess, just living permanently in where, New Zealand or Australia, where he was in one of those Australasian countries when COVID hit, and he's just kind of like chilled there since. But I recall he was at a school or a university
Mm-hmm.
giving an interview, and he said that the future of Steam is coming later this year and it will surprise people. And that's what he said.
Maybe this is what he was referring to then. Okay.
Yeah. I assume this is what he was referring to. So, if you haven't seen the announcement, it's basically a Switch ish type of device called the Steam Deck. Um, but I guess the biggest difference is that it is a PC. So, it ships with SteamOS, which runs on a flavor of Linux. Um, but Valve says you can uninstall that and just install straight up Windows on this thing and
Mm-hmm.
do whatever the fuck you want. It is an open platform, which makes it a very different beast to the Nintendo Switch
Yeah.
because you could potentially do things on this hardware that games can't be optimized for the Steam Deck because the Steam Deck is just hardware. It doesn't
Mm.
know what operating system or software is running on it,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But in terms of specs, it's fairly similar to the Switch. It's got a 7-inch screen, which is the same as the Switch OLED model,
Mm-hmm.
although the resolution is slightly different. It's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, so just slightly taller.
Mm.
It is an LCD screen, so not OLED. So, boo.
Take that.
Uh, it's got two thumbsticks very high up the
They
device, and
are
they're symmetrical, which I don't
incredibly
like.
high, those thumbsticks.
Yeah, they're very high. And then the D-pad's like next to it on the left, which is listen, the layouts of this thing looks like it was made just to accommodate the two touch pads that are
At the
below
bottom, yeah.
the two thumbsticks, which are apparently an iteration of the tech found on the Steam controller.
Mm.
Um, and I get why they have to put this in. Some PC games are better played with a mouse, like if you're
Mm.
playing Anno or Civilization or
Yeah.
something of that ilk. Um, but it does make the actual controller layout look weird. Like the four face buttons look so cramped. On the
They really
side,
do on the side, yeah. I don't
yeah,
know.
it looks like the B button is like bleeding off the edge of the damn thing. Like,
It is. It's falling off. But I think I've seen the back. It looks like it. I think it will be comfortable to hold regardless, because like the back looks almost
mm,
sculpted. But just at first glance, it's weird. Like those buttons are super high, and I'm like, I've got big hands, so I don't see an issue. But if you've got teeny hands, like, is it going to be comfortable
yeah,
to hold them so high up? I mean, I don't
I don't.
know.
But I agree with you with regarding the back. The back looks. I mean, the Switch is flat, and that's why
Mm,
it's so uncomfortable sometimes. But the back is sculpted. It's also got way more buttons. It's got
yeah.
like there's like shoulder buttons like you see on like the Xbox Elite controller,
Mm,
stuff like that. Also, the triggers are analog; they're not digital,
mm,
so that's really cool.
yeah.
Um, Having them as analog means that games that make use of half presses and whatever can use that functionality. Um, yeah, I mean, listen, the hardware itself looks solid. It is Valve hardware. They've been trying to get in the hardware game for ages now,
Mm,
and I feel like you know the Steam controller missed, Steam machines missed,
yeah.
but their VR stuff has been fucking great.
Mm,
Very expensive, but very good. Um, so I mean,
yeah.
this looks good. I'm just, I just hope people temper their expectations of what this thing
Mm,
can kind of do. So it's running off an AMD GPU and CPU or APU combination, and thankfully it's using RDNA 2, so that's the latest graphics architecture from AMD that's actually present in the Xbox Series X and PS5. So that's that's positive. It's got modern guts in there.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But like, will this run? You know, like in the video, they say you can dock this. There is a dock that you can buy. I
Mm.
don't think it actually comes
I
included.
don't think it
You
does.
can
Yeah.
you can dock this and put it on a monitor and whatever. But like, will that even run at 1080p? Probably not. This seems
Mm.
more designed to run at the much smaller resolution screen, especially if you're playing modern games like Jedi Fallen Order or Control,
Mm.
like they advertise on this. Um, and then it's also quite expensive. Like it starts at $400 for the 64 gig version, and I would super not recommend that because it uses a form of memory called eMMC, which is super slow. Um, yeah, if you can avoid that, just avoid it. And then the two options
Oh,
above that, the
okay.
256 gigabyte and 512 gigabyte versions come with NVMe SSDs, but those go for $530 and $650 respectively.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking money. Um, for a
I
device
mean,
that
it's just a little bit of money, you know. It's just
I mean, it's $150 more than your next gen consoles.
yeah.
Um, no, wait, hold on. They're $500, right?
Yeah. So you no,
Yeah,
you're
okay.
right. So the 650 is it's more expensive than Xbox Series X or PS5.
And it's like, yeah, you can play your Steam games on the go. That's cool. But like, I'm I'm like just puzzled as to who this is for. Like, I think we were saying before the show, before we started recording, both of us would buy this. I will buy this, like
Yeah.
if we could, because it's not available in South Africa, like all Steam hardware.
Mm.
Um, I, I would definitely buy this because it seems like a cool platform. I have a lot of Steam games that make use of this, and I could see instances where I want to play a game that is maybe not on Switch or is better suited on this device. You know,
Yeah.
but the Switch, people will immediately want to compare this to the Switch, and I think that does the Steam Deck a disservice because it will never compete with the Switch.
Mm.
The Switch has your Nintendo exclusives. It is a platform that just works. So
Mm.
users don't need to worry about will this game run on Linux or will I have to install Windows, stuff like that.
Mm.
And then on top of it, the Switch has games that are optimized for that hardware. This is running
Exactly.
PC games are optimized for a range of hardware. There will be no
Mm.
Steam Deck version of a game.
Yeah.
This to me is for people who have an existing large Steam library and are already used to the idiosyncrasies of fucking around with PC gaming,
Yeah.
which is a 50% fun and 50% frustrating experience, you
Yeah.
know? Um, it is a tinkerer's toy in that regard. So yeah, I think if you go in with those expectations, you'll probably enjoy it. You'll be like, this is a thing that will not run games nearly as well as my PC in my bedroom, but hey, I
But I
can
can
play this
take
thing
them
every day.
anyway. Yeah. Look,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, just exactly what you said. It's a thing of I'd love to have one, but I do not need one. Like
Yeah.
even
100%.
I think it might be even just thinking about the target market, like maybe people who just don't have PCs. Like, cool, this is it's for all intents and purposes a PC console that you can buy
Mm,
dock for your TV if you want to have it in your lounge, whatever. But like you said, those same people are maybe not versed in, actual PC shenanigans where, you might have to jump into the settings to tweak around to get the best performance, or
mhm.
you might, I know some friends of mine, for example, like visual snobs, they'll maybe pick this up, for example, go, oh man, this is awesome, but I can only run things on low to medium. Like,
Yeah.
is it
I think
worth
I
it?
think
Like, I don't know.
if you're hooking this up to an external display, like I think if you're thinking of playing games at anything above 1080p and 30 frames per second, you're
Mm,
gonna be very shocked.
yeah.
Especially, I mean, they're advertising this. I mean, we're looking now at Jedi Fallen Order. I
Yeah.
do not expect a portable to run that extremely well.
No.
And it's why a lot of AAA games on the Switch, even like Control on the Switch, is a streaming title.
Mm,
So, these are games that test full on desktops. You can't expect a portable
to
thing
just
to run this
magically,
really
yeah.
well. Um, but I'm curious to see this in the wild. I think new hardware is always fun. Um, so yeah. Also, this thing is huge.
It's
I was
massive.
writing. I was writing up specs for this yesterday on GameSpot, and the thing that jumped out at me firstly was the weight. So the Nintendo Switch is about 300 grams.
Mhm.
This is 660, so it's more than double the weight.
Holy shit, that is heavy.
It's more than half a kilogram. Okay, that's
Kiss your
a
wrists
lot.
goodbye. Holy hell.
Also, the thickness. The
It's
thickness of the
very
Switch.
thick.
The thickness of the Switch is 14 millimeters. This is 49. It
Yeah.
is so thick.
But it's because of those hand grips at the back. It's like
It's also
I think
true. It's far more
no,
ergonomic.
no. So
Yeah.
yeah, you like it's more ergonomic, but the trade-off is that it's a lot thicker. Like you can't just. I mean, look, it's not as like that thick, but compared to the Switch, it's going to be a lot harder to slip this into a backpack, for
Yeah.
argument's sake.
Although to be fair, IGN they have a video where they went hands-on with this, and
Mhm.
both editors that tried it out both said they found it surprisingly comfortable. They
Okay.
both wrote that they were taken aback by its size,
Mm.
but that they found it comfortable. But then again, I recall previews of the Nintendo Switch saying it was comfortable, and then when people played
It's
it for more than 30 minutes at a preview event, they realized that, oh wait, this actually fucks up my wrists if I play for like an hour. So
who
take it with a
knows?
grain of salt.
Yeah.
Preview events are preview events because they're limited. They can only
Yeah.
give you so much of the picture.
But yeah, I'm with you. I'm excited to see how it does. Like I can't say I'm gonna pick one up. But
Oh
I'd be
well, it would be very hard for us to
for
pick one
us
up.
to pick one up in South
Well,
Africa, yeah. But I'd be curious to know because, like, I hear you. You can't optimize. You know, it's Steam Deck. There's going to be different operating systems, different settings, that sort of thing. I would be curious to know that. Wouldn't it be interesting if Steam, for example, so they've got their requirements on their page. I wonder if they would include some sort of Steam Deck section that maybe
that
specifies,
would be smart. That would
like
be smart.
required, like
Like a
whatever.
recommended
Yeah,
set, or
like
even just like this is what you should run the
this is
game
how
at
you should run it. Yeah.
performance.
Like, or maybe even, I don't know, if the developers could have it that you launch a game, it knows, oh, it's on a Steam Deck, will default to this pre-set up, list of
Mm.
settings because we've tested and this is the most optimized way to run this game on this
I think
hardware.
that would be a
Like
great idea.
that makes
Like,
sense to me. So in that
yeah.
regard, I'm like, that seems kind of cool. Because even then, maybe some devs will try optimize for this specifically, but is it worth their time? Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, you see that's the trade-off. Like, I mean, I don't think it's much more work to have like a selection of settings that is like this is what we think will give you the best performance on Steam
Mm,
Deck. I don't think unless this thing blows up in a way that we're not expecting, I don't think
mm,
PC devs will optimize specifically for this. They'll just be like, given the hardware, we ran it at these settings, and we think these are the best,
yeah.
the best experience you'll have. I
Yeah.
mean, this is why consoles exist. Consoles exist because of the low barrier to entry. It's like
Yeah.
you pop in a game, it works. And even that has become a bit more complicated lately with fidelity and resolution modes, and then you have your HDR and high frame rates, and it feels like console gaming has turned like a corner on that sort of thing. But
Mm,
it's still plug and play.
yeah.
And barring any catastrophes, when you put in a game on a console, it works to a certain degree at a certain
Exactly.
level.
Yeah.
And that is super not the case on PC. It never
Yeah.
is, never will. And that is why PC games, I love playing on PC, but
Mm,
I understand the mission that you have to go through sometimes
exactly.
to get a game running correctly.
I
So,
mean, but
yeah.
even just last thing on this, just for comparison's sake, we all know that the teraflops don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. But it's interesting just for comparison purposes that this they say it's 1.6 teraflops, whereas
hmm
the Xbox Series X is 12, I think,
hmm
and the PS5 is 8 or 9.
10.8.
Is it 10
This
point?
1.6 is just under the teraflops of the original PlayStation 4.
Yeah. So
That should give you an
take
idea.
from that
Like,
what you will. It is a mobile device.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Take from that what you will. The good news is that it is AMD, so it will support AMD's like FSR, which is like their scaling resolution that is meant to compete with Nvidia's DLSS. But I mean, right now FSR is kind of like shit,
But
but
it'll
it
get there.
will
Yeah.
definitely get better, and that will probably give some life to this thing. But yeah, just I mean, keep expectations in check.
Mm.
Understand what you're buying into. And I think Nintendo gets away with a lot of this stuff because like they have an underpowered console, yeah, but they have exclusive games that run extremely well on that
On the
hardware.
underpowered. Yeah.
So no one gives a shit. Like
Exactly.
if Zelda runs good or the Pokemon runs good or the Mario runs good, like who cares how many teraflops that thing is putting out?
Mm.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. What should we just fly through all the delays that have happened this week?
Yeah, there's like
So
3 delays that all happened this week.
Rainbow Six
Random from
Extraction,
big to small.
goodbye. Gone till January
Yeah.
2022.
So that is, if you're unfamiliar, it's the sort of like spin-off game for Rainbow Six, where I think it's team of 4 or 3, I'm not sure,
Mm-hmm.
fighting like an alien infection.
Yeah.
Seems like we're getting lots of these Left 4 Dead style games,
It's like a
suddenly.
resurgence of them.
Yeah, we got Back for Blood coming. We've got the Alien Fire Team 1, and we've
Mm.
got Extraction. So yeah,
Oh,
it was meant to come out I think in November. Now it's January 2022.
2022.
Mm.
Hot on its heels, Resident Evil Reverse just delayed to 2022. So now this one I find the most interesting because this was meant to launch with Village in May.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And I don't know if this delay is a response
Wait,
to.
didn't Village launch in April?
No, it was May.
Oh god, I need to update an article.
Was it April? No, I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
It says May, yeah, and I'm like, whoops, did I fuck up?
Yeah, I think it was May.
Oh well.
Oh well. But for those of you who don't know, again, this is a multiplayer, for all intents and purposes, a very silly looking, but fun looking multiplayer shooter thing. That is
That
meant to.
pulls from like you got characters from the whole series of
Mm,
games coming in.
yeah. I mean, I'm keen to try it.
Yeah, no, I'm keen to give it a go. I think I've said this before, but that art style rubs me the wrong way. I really
It's a
hate it.
weird art style.
Really don't like
Yeah.
it.
Well, maybe we'll get back to delays in a second, but
There's a really iconic screenshot from this game where it's like I think Jill Valentine aiming a gun at Leon Kennedy while behind her Jack Baker is about to hit her with a spade, and then just off to the side you've got one of those like bipedal
is it this image?
what are the no, not this image. It's like an in-game image, but there's like
Uh,
what are those bipedal things you find in the sewers of Remake 2? You know those things.
yeah, it's like
It's
this,
just like
like a
chilling there.
toad or whatever the hell it is, like a
And you're
giant.
just like, what is going on in the screenshot? There's so much to unpack here. It's really
It's
funny.
amazing. But just sticking on Resident Evil quickly, turns out that pirated copy of Resident Evil 8 that people are playing, it runs better than the original. Than the
I mean,
this.
again, this just comes back to PC gaming. It's
Mhm.
like PC games have DRM that actually tanks performance, and this is a fairly normal thing that has happened for many years. But Village seems to be a completely new degree of fuckery when it comes to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Digital Foundry did a whole video on this, and they found like the game was like running at high frame rates, but always with micro stutters
Mm,
to the point where it would drop from like 120 frames per second to 30
mm.
during some intervals, which is horrible. Like you're playing a first person shooter, even though it's a much slower one, like those.
But
And then yeah,
yeah.
the cracked version doesn't have those issues.
So yeah, I think even just the fact, like, if you've never experienced micro stutters, it's one thing to be like, oh, don't bitch about it. You still have like 30 FPS, but when you go from super high frames to slower frames back and forth, it is the most
It is
infuriating
the
thing
worst.
ever.
The absolute worst. It
Yeah.
sucks. Incorrect frame pacing really fucking sucks. It's part of the reason why people desperately want a patch for Bloodborne, because that is part of the it's one of the biggest issues with that. Speaking of Bloodborne, we should play Bloodborne again.
Wait, what is the biggest issue with Bloodborne? frame
Just the
stuff?
frame pacing. Yeah, the frame pacing is
Yeah.
bad.
Well, it's. I mean, I've told this story before, but I went from the Demon Souls remake on PS5 straight into Bloodborne, and let me tell you, that was a real jarring experience because that was like,
Mhm.
this game's ugly in
Yeah,
comparison.
and it
It's
and it and
not.
it runs
It's
way
not ugly
worse.
at all, but just making that jump, I was like, holy shit. Yeah, and the 38 frames, I was like, damn, this game would
Yeah,
be
it's not
pure
fantastic.
magic at 60 FPS.
Oh, I
Um,
wish, man.
you're right though, we should replay Bloodborne. Going back to delays, Ghostwire Tokyo, delayed to
Yeah,
early
I mean,
2022.
this seemed inevitable because it's like we haven't seen much of this game since the PlayStation 5 reveal. Like we've seen so much of Deathloop.
I've seen too
And,
much of Deathloop. Like
yeah,
way
we've
too
seen
much of
way too
Deathloop.
much of but Tango Gameworks, also Bethesda Studio, so also now Microsoft Studio, they really hadn't shown Ghostwire Tokyo since last year, June. And they kept clinging on to this 2021 release dates, and it just seemed like that was not going to happen. So, yeah, this makes sense. I'm not too surprised or sad about this. This game still looks weird as fuck, and I'm here for it. It's just, I couldn't believe when they showed off the trailer that it was like a first-person action game. Like it was
Like
not
what?
how I thought it would be.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's like
But
first person throwing out magic and shit at demons in Japan. Like hell
yes,
yeah!
bam.
Look at this. This looks
Take
great.
my money.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I'm stoked for this.
Yep, that's
So
been
yeah.
delayed.
It's another one of those weird ones that's coming to PS5 and PC exclusively first, even though it is now technically a Microsoft studio. So
So that
weird.
that I assume just pushes out the release date for Xbox by like a year as
Yeah.
well, which
About a
is
year,
just
because as far as I know, the Deathloop
shit.
exclusivity is a year long. So I would
Yeah,
assume the same deal applies here. I would imagine like Microsoft is trying everything they can to turn
to
around
get
those
this.
contract
Yeah,
deals. But I'm sure, contracts are contracts, so it's hard.
they have the
But
best lawyers
I
looking at
can't
it,
imagine, yeah, I can't imagine they don't have lawyers looking for ways to get
like
past this
loopholes
because
and stuff.
they don't
Yeah,
want this. At the
yeah,
end of the day, they're still making the money from it because they own the studio, but they'd want it on their consoles as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the delays. Do you want to talk about this Nickelodeon Smash
This
Brothers
thing,
game?
this. So, for all intents and purposes, Nickelodeon looked at Smash and thought, "Shit, that looks like fun. We have a huge roster of iconic characters. Why don't we just do exactly the same? Like, let's
I
just
love
have
that they
our
managed to
version
get
of
Brawl
Smash."
and All Stars into the name. So it's like
Yes,
Smash Brothers Brawl and PlayStation All Stars.
exactly.
Like, oh
So
god.
if you're watching the trailer, you'll recognize a lot of these characters, which you probably just recognize from your childhood or slash adulthood. I mean, we've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we've got Patrick Star, we've got SpongeBob, we've got
Ah, Real Monsters,
Real
Ovalina.
Monsters. There we go. We've got what's his face, Nigel Thornberry, and it looks exactly like Smash. Honestly, even when there's a part when a character gets hit off the stage, it's got like the exact same explosion. So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
the smoke trail.
So
Yeah,
I wonder,
it's
like, we've
wow.
only got this gameplay with no UI or anything, but I do wonder.
They have the dinosaur from Rugrats. That's amazing.
Exactly. This is like pure nostalgia. You don't care about the game. You just want
Yeah.
to be like, they've got a Invader Zim.
Invader Zim.
Yep.
What? Danny Phantom. Okay,
You
fuck. I need to
see,
play
now,
this.
now you are where I am, where I was yesterday. I was like, damn, I want to play this. It
Yo, there's
looks real
some.
good.
This is a banging roster. This is real good.
Exactly.
I like this a lot.
But I do wonder in terms of gameplay, Smash is the whole formula of there's a percentage, damage percentage, and the higher the percentage is, the more likely you are to be hit off the map. Now, what is their spin on that? Or are they just gonna straight up run with that?
I
I don't know.
genuinely think it's just gonna run with the same thing because just looking at the gameplay, I mean, you've got the smoke trails, like you said.
Exactly. And
It looks
and the
identical.
PlayStation what is that game even called? Was it just PlayStation All Stars?
I think it was PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale or something like that.
So
PlayStation All Stars Royale
when that
something.
game was announced, it's like, oh my god, it's Sony's version of Smash Brothers. Let me tell you, that game is not Smash Brothers. It had same perspective, huge roster of cool characters, but in terms of mechanically, it just didn't hit.
It also just sucked.
Yeah, it
It
was
really
not
sucked.
great. So I don't know. The Nickelodeon one looks real cool. So Let's see.
Fun story. The very first time I played a Smash Bros was with Matthew. This was early in my Nintendo Kool-Aid days.
My God.
I just acquired my own 3DS and did not
Oh shit,
understand
we
what the Smash Brothers was. And I was at a Chinese restaurant with Matthew for
what were we there
Garth's
for?
birthday. I think it was Garth's birthday.
It's a good
Um,
time.
and we just played Smash there. And I
Hmm.
was introduced to the fuckery that is Kirby in Super
It's
Smash
so
Bros.
good. Kirby's the best, man. Don't speak shit
Absolute
about my
fucking
Kirby.
nonsense.
What other news do we have? Nope, that is not.
You still had that old green not green, like a metallic blue green
No, no,
3DS.
no, that wasn't mine. I've got the white one. I have the OG little one.
Uh,
The blue one, I think Garth has the blue one.
Maybe I was playing on his then.
Yeah, maybe,
I can't
maybe.
recall.
I don't remember. So this week, is it this coming week? The EA Play is happening. You
July
know,
22nd,
month
so
after
Thursday.
E3, these dudes are doing their own thing. And apparently there's no Star Wars news or games being revealed at EA Play.
A bit
No,
surprising.
no Jedi Fallen
To be
Order 2. Sad face.
Yeah, that's the one thing I thought of. If there was going to be a Star Wars thing, it would be like an acknowledgement, because I think they've said that they're working on another one, but they haven't, officially announced it.
Mm.
But I thought we'd see something
That game's definitely
to
getting a
do with that.
sequel. Like,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
definitely. I don't think that's a question. But as the article points out here from IGN, they could be reserving a lot of this news for Star Wars Celebration later this year,
Mm.
which would make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is it what? Some Knights of the Old Republic? Question mark, maybe?
Yeah, Ubisoft's also making a Star Wars game. Now that it's not just EA in charge of that property, I think it's a lot more exciting to have
Mm.
different teams on there
Yeah,
and
I want to
stuff.
see
So,
other people's spins on this universe.
mm.
Though there's so much Star Wars now, it's very difficult to keep up. On
Yeah. I'm kind of glad that the movies are taking a break,
yeah.
and that we're getting still some Star Wars stuff in terms of the series. Like The Mandalorian is really fun,
Mm.
um, and the Bad Batch, which is like the Clone Wars spin-off, is quite fun too.
Mm.
So yeah, we're still getting it here and there, but like it doesn't matter if we don't get a Star Wars game this year. That's
Yeah.
totally fine. Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, play should be fun. Hopefully get to see that whatever that Dead Space thing is.
Mm-hmm.
It
The
would be
Dead
real funny if there's no Dead Space there. That would be fucking hilarious.
Well, do you think that is it? So do you not think there's another surprise lined up?
No, I don't think so. I
God
think
damn.
they're going to use this space to be like, hey, look at FIFA. Hey, look at Battlefield.
We've got Pele. Talk
Yeah, we hired Pele
for the
again.
fourth time.
He joins us on Zoom.
And
No,
then,
Pele, you're muted. Please,
no, please,
Pele, please.
please
No,
pause.
Pele, now you turned off your camera. Oh,
Oh
fuck.
no. And then the last piece of news for this week: Persona is teasing 7 announcements for its 25th anniversary. That's a lot of
Hell
announcements.
yeah, let's go. Fucking hell yeah. Can you believe 25th anniversary Persona? Who would have thunk?
Are you getting a Persona
Um,
6?
I would not be shocked if there is a announcement of 6 and then it doesn't come out forever, because
Mm.
that is the MO. Like 5 took years to eventually come out after being announced. So I suspect we'll get a logo, as is usual for these sorts of things for Persona 6. The thing that I think most people want, again, no idea if it will happen, is a Persona 3 re-release or remake. That would be
For
really
modern
cool.
platforms, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Because I mean, they put out Persona 4 Golden on PC fairly recently, and that was previously a Vita exclusive.
Mm.
And they didn't really do much to touch it up, but that game's still fantastic. So
Mm.
if they do something similar for Persona 3 just to make it a bit more accessible, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I don't know, 7 games, there'll probably be another dancing game.
Of course there'll be a dancing game.
Maybe another arena fighter, because they did have Persona 4 Arena, which was a fighter, so maybe that.
Oh,
So
I can't believe that this
yeah.
franchise is 25 years old.
Yeah,
That's
it feels like it only really hit the mainstream with Persona 5, to be honest. Like it's always been there, but the fact that everyone knows what a Persona is now was
yeah,
definitely not the case before 5.
definitely. I mean, was it E3 or Gamescom we were at? I think that is pre Persona 5 days. There was like a whole booth with Persona 5, and I was like,
what is
Why
this?
is everyone swarming around this this exhibition
Oh,
here?
even me, I remember seeing Persona 5 for the first time, being like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this looks ridiculous." And that's what like spurred me on to give Persona 4 a try, and then I fell in love with
And
the
now look
game.
at you,
Yeah, now
Persona
I
5
love
lackey.
Persona 5 as well. So yeah,
Yeah, I
real Kool-Aid man right here.
think that is all of the news for this week. We've got some hardware delays, no Star Wars, Persona, and a Smash ripoff,
Oh
which
yeah.
might be good. We'll have to see.